Alright, welcome back to SpecProof. Today we have a very fresh and radical looking BMW iX to look around, so I'll give you a quick tour of it. First, let's start with the design, obviously, which is definitely a trademark of this vehicle or any new electric/electrified BMW nowadays. What I can say is, trust me, it will look alright in real life. It all comes together and makes sense, more or less. But it's definitely on the acquired taste side, for sure. I personally like the taillights and details in them. The BMW script is a sweet touch. Also, the door handles, or I'm sorry, there's no handles. I'm going to call them door openers, I suppose. They are cool, and it's a very different approach. There's a hidden button under the cavity and the door just pops open. They didn't bother to hide the door openers. They highlighted them, unlike other manufacturers who engineer the handles flush with the bodywork when they try to be cool these days. To open the doors from inside, there's no traditional handle neither. It's all controlled with the switch. For me, the most questionable decisions are made in the grille area, if you can call it a grille at all. I suppose it's a substitute for a grille of some sort. The size of the thing is more or less alright. It's a bigger vehicle, they call it a SUV, so it doesn't look that out of place. But I'm disappointed that it's just a plain sticker. When you go far enough, it kinda looks embossed. But in reality, it's just a sticker. Maybe they are trolling us. In that case, I'll give them some slack. The front lights are too narrow for my taste, but when you look at the iX from a right angle, they make sense. And you know what? The iX looks surprisingly nice in white, and that's the biggest compliment you can give to any vehicle, because it brings out all of the lines and flaws of the design. What about the competition? Well, the internet likes to compare it to the Tesla Model X. They are kinda right in that department, but you cannot compare them too directly. Let me explain. Dimensions-wise, they are very similar. In the performance and pricing department, it gets difficult. The Model X is in a different league. But indeed, they are not that far off each other. To be more specific, I suppose it's alright to compare the top-of-the-line xDrive 50 version with the entry-level long-range Model X. BMW's entry-level xDrive 40 is too cheap and slow compared to the Model X, and the plaid version of the X is too fast and expensive to have a fair comparison. There used to be more Model X versions available, which would have made the comparison more fair, but while producing this video, there's only 2 Tesla Model X versions available. Is there anything else we can compare the iX to? Well, at first glance, to me, it seems to be more or less in the same size category as the good old X5. And in practice, it turns out that they totally compare. Dimensions are very similar, also the base price, although there's a considerable cap at the moment when you max out the options list. The upcoming iX M60 is in the works and it will be released in 2022. Overall, I guess it's pretty appropriate to call the iX the electric X5. So that leads us to the available versions of the iX. And there are 2 of them initially, at least, the entry-level xDrive 40 and the top-of-the-line xDrive 50, as I briefly mentioned in the Model X comparison. Performance-wise, the xDrive 40 version seems very wise choice between 2 of them. Yes, the numbers are bigger in the 50, but when you render them into acceleration, the 40 is quick enough, especially considering the price tag. And both of them have the same top speed, which is 200 km per hour. You must be an acceleration addict to justify the xDrive 50 in that case. Unfortunately, I don't have any more data for the different acceleration scenarios. Note to 50, note to 200, and 100 to 200 would be really cool data to compare. Maybe the 50 version would shine in those areas and justify the high premium. Since the iX is an EV, let's compare the most important aspects, range and charging speeds. Now this table is a totally different story. The higher price of the xDrive 50 really shines through here. Thanks to the bigger battery capacity, the range is significantly longer in every condition. So, if you tend to have a range anxiety, you can defeat it by spending more on the xDrive 50. Next up, the interior. Unlike the exterior, it's not that radical, but it definitely ties in with the overall design. I personally love BMW's approach here. They have done an excellent job while designing this interior. It's minimalist, but they haven't gone that far like Tesla has with the Model 3 or Y, or even the Volkswagen's EVs. Keyword here is very high quality materials and mixing them in different areas. The wood around the iDrive controller area is amazing. The controller itself is made out of optional crystal looking material, and it is the best piece of rotary knob I have ever laid my hands on. It's super tactile and satisfying to mess around with. I wasn't even thinking about using the touch screen. Talking about the screen, or should I say screens, because there's two of them. They are very high resolution and they use different graphical interface design compared to the other BMW models. It's all very busy and most of the functions are screen controlled. Overall, I guess it's a classic EV interior, very practical and airy. The layout reminds me Ioniq 5's interior, but with at least 2 times higher quality materials. That said, the Ioniq 5's interior quality was also very high. Now I'm going to give you some highlights which caught my eye regarding the interior. Previously mentioned iDrive area and the seat controls are one of the coolest in the car industry. I love that crystal looking approach, which is optional, and the positioning of the seat controls. BMW has always positioned them on the seat itself. It seems that after all these years they have finally decided to do it like Mercedes has done for ages. Moving on, the holes in the headrests are a nice touch. And you know what's the strangest part? There's no grab handles. I have never seen a modern car without grab handles. I suppose they did a research of some sorts to find out how many people are using those. I guess they got their answer. And finally, the dashboard, which is the most unique area in the interior. I personally dig it a lot. In the end, the interior is very un-BMW-like. It's very comfort-oriented and different to BMWs that we're used to. For example, the seats don't look supportive at all and they are very soft around the edges. I'm pretty sure that in practice they are supportive. Hopefully I will find that out when I drive the iX someday. Then there's the area which is not visible when the doors or hatches are closed. First off, the exposed carbon fiber, which is visible when you open any passenger door. It doesn't scream, it's subtle and elegant and very cool. I'm not a huge fan of carbon fiber as a styling element, but this is very nicely executed. And then the rear hatch. You see, the rear lights are entirely positioned on it, so they are not visible when the hatch is opened. But there's a clever solution for that concern, those cute additional taillights under the hatch. What about the options list? Well, the best way to describe it is minimalism again. It seems that the Germans are finally changing their school of thought when it comes to the options. Most of the goodies and safety-oriented systems that we take for granted on the modern vehicle are standard. To keep up the pace, I'm not going to stop here. Both the 40 and 50 are pretty much equal when it comes to the standard equipment list. There's only one difference. The 50 comes with air suspension, which isn't available for the 40 at all. Speccing the iX has made especially convenient thanks to the 4 option packages. The Sport package, which is mostly style and performance oriented, for around 3,000 euros. Then there's an innovation package for 2,300 euros, which comes with the so-called cold weather package, including heated armrests, upgraded parking assistance, and the ability to use the car without its key. Next up, the comfort package, which consists of an upgraded instrument cluster, voice command system, and laser headlights. Price for the particular package is 3,800 euros. And last but not least, the most expensive exclusive package, which comes with panoramic roof, upgraded headliner, crystal switchgear, tinted windows, and heat insulating windshield. Of course, you can choose those options individually if you don't need everything in the particular package. I also want to mention some highlights from the rest of the options list. Soft close doors, ventilated front seats, multifunction driver's seat with massage function, 4-zone climate system, and there's 2 optional sound systems to choose from. Harman Kardon unit with 18 speakers and 655 watt output, or the whopping 1600 watt 30 speaker Powers and Wilkins system. Price for the Powers and Wilkins unit? Just shy of 5,000 euros. Wonder how much would it affect the range? And then finally, I would mention the optional cloth seats for 500 euros. These are definitely one of the coolest cloth seats in the industry. There are more options available, but that's about it. I just listed some of the highlights. In conclusion, I admit BMW's new design direction is the strangest, but the iX looks way better in real life when it comes together and kind of makes sense. Thanks for watching.